Hello, everybody. I am Lundus Welcome back to the Lundus Instructs audio podcast. Wow, we got some news to cover, ladies and gentlemen. There is so much happening. A lot of which, is unprecedented. A lot of which is sort of I'm not really in agreement with. So let's get right into it. Of course, over the past few days now, there have been just so many impeachments of so many judges here. That it's kind of tiring to even go through it all. So if you want to really know what's happening with that, I suggest looking anywhere on AR right now. It's all over the place. If you really care to know, pretty much every single notable judge got an impeachment trial. The results of which were sort of successful. 2 of them got removed. One of them is of great interest though. So I'll talk about one person from the impeachment trial. That is, of course, the Chief Justice Dylan Waters. If you're a longtime viewer of the show, not long time, if you've watched the show since episode 3, you know that I was never a big fan of Dylan Waters. I never really talked about it too much, never talked about the judicial system in the United States too much, just because it's something that, I participate in frequently and I don't want to say anything off context. But I always sort of talked about Dylan Waters. Whenever I brought it up, I sort of gravitated to the Chief Justice Dylan Waters, and I was like, man, why is this guy still kicking around? Like, he is so inactive. I've never seen him online. I saw him once. I swear to God, I'm always online. I saw him once, and he never answers DMs. I've DM'd him a few times, and he never answers it, never does anything. So I wish that we just had a more active person in the judicial branch. But he was, of course, impeached. I don't think he was impeached. I don't think he was ever voted on. I think he just resigned because he knew he was going to get impeached. So that's I guess for me that's good news, sort of. I mean, I don't like seeing government officials get impeached, of course, but that brings me into my next topic, which is, why is everyone targeting everyone? I feel like nowadays, this is going to be hard to word, but I feel like nowadays people are targeting other people in power, right? There is this targeting of the Federalist and the Pluralist. Armand Foley is incredibly salty. I mean, I don't like to say this about him because I like to say centrist on this podcast. I sort of started the podcast on the side of Armand, but now I'm kind of leaning Akon. I mean, I don't know, but Armand is just starting to lose his mind. He's so salty that he's lost the presidency. He's salty that he's lost his Federalist majority. He's salty that, the Pluralists are now a thing. And he's just targeting everyone on the Pluralists. He's targeting, Egg Boiler. He's making radical tweets about the president's cabinet. He's saying all this false stuff that's just, not good. It's not healthy. And, some of his closest friends, have just left him. So it's pretty crazy. So I wanted to talk about that for a bit. So the story is, I don't know if I've talked about this story before, but the story is, the GOP, I ran a while ago. I ran for House Representatives. I became Majority Leader. But the GOP was the party I ran with. I ran with the GOP. I ran with a guy, Kaniel Krivaki. I ran with Sheaf. I ran with a lot of other people on the GOP. Actually, funny story about Kaniel Krivaki. He left a while ago, but now he's back in AR, and I just realized that a few days ago. So glad to see him back. He was. I never really. He was always kind of bullied by people in AR, but I sort of treated him with respect, and he seemed to treat me with respect. So I'm glad that he's back at least, and he's not. He's an HLS. I'm not sure what he does. I think he's a HR person. But moving on, the GOP was, that was the party that got me elected, and I was grateful for that. But once we were all sort of elected, Egg Boiler as well, Trey Namikos, we all sort of realized that this GOP chairman, named Attorney at the time, had just kind of wanted to consolidate power. He wanted to get all these people in office so that he could become president and he could control the entirety of AR. So with Armand Foley's help, all of us left, pretty much every single significant Republican left the GOP, formed a new party called the Federalist Party, and that's how that happened. The GOP died. I think it sort of merged with the Constitutionalists. Now it's not really anymore, but it's pretty much dead. There's no elected chairman. It's just a throwaway party. But now the Federalists are starting to look a lot more like the GOP were. Armand was resigned after he lost the speakership. Of course, he at that point in time he was at least honorable about it. He didn't radicalize the party. I was still a Federalist, even though the Pluralists at that point in time had been made. I was still sticking with the Federalists. But once he resigned and they put in the former Treasury Secretary who completely ruined the Treasury, I sort of got turned off by the Federalists and I left. And I mean, I don't want to talk about my political view here. I just want AR to succeed. Pretty much that's what I want. That's my political party. Just AR, please get active, please succeed. That's what I'm trying to do here. So, I mean, I would say that the Pluralists probably closest share that view. Definitely, like the Constitutionalists as well. Federalists are fine, but just I don't like the sort of attorney-type leadership that's going on in the Federalists right now. So, I would advise the American people to look more into the Federalists right now because they aren't as honorable as they used to be. I'll tell you that. So, wow, that was a bit of a rant. My bad. But speaking of attorney, the guy who was the former GOP chairman, he's also back. I don't know how he came in my DMs randomly, and now he's fucking back apparently. Which I mean, I'm not really happy about. I don't know why he's back, but he's now running for House. So, if you want to look into his campaign, go ahead. But I suggest not voting him into power. He's a very hungry person. Speaking of power hungry, Armand Foley has been going crazy recently. He's been making so many stupid tweets and just like he's starting to act like Donald Trump on Twitter. Like he's just making these random ass tweets that are just trying to be destructive to the president's administration and to other people in the group. So let me just pull this up really quickly here. This is his Twitter account. Actually, let me find the actual tweet. All right. So as you can see right here, this is from Speaker Armand Foley here. He's pretty much just saying this 1 to 3 thing is talking about what it's his message. He made three other messages. So he says here, I urge the president to nominate a new Secretary of the State, new Secretary of the Defense, and new Secretary of the Treasury. I will not stay silent and live with the inactivity of these people. They were confirmed for a reason to fulfill their duties within their department. Of course, he got fucking slammed by 3 other people, including me, just kind of pointing out, this is such a hypocritical statement because I don't like to slander Armand Foley. I was with him for a long time, but I mean, Armand, we're just not going to talk about the House then, right? Okay, whatever. So, which they're not doing. If they can't do their job, they should resign, or President Akon should take action to remove them. Their reason AR is inactive, remove them or the problem won't get any better. If the president doesn't remove them within a week, I, along with the House, will take swift action to remove these individuals. So, he's been kicked out of the House. Actually, that's some other news I don't think has been really mentioned, but he's out of the House. Egg Boiler launched some sort of fucking smear campaign and got him out somehow. I don't know how. I'm not going to look into that. Again, I'm not liking these targeting of individuals. Armand got kicked out because the Pluralists don't like him, but Armand's targeting other It's stupid. I really am not happy with what's going on in America right now, that people are just targeting each other. But whatever. So Armand's out. But this is such a stupid statement because right now the secretaries right now, the cabinet is the only thing keeping America alive, I would say. You look at the Secretary of Homeland Security isn't mentioned here, which is fine, but you look at him, you see this whole immigration system. I mean, you look at the Secretary of State, and you look at we got into a new UN, and we have some great things happening there. You got to look at the defense. I mean, there's nothing really to defend right now, and there's nothing really that this position can do. You look at the Treasury. We just made a new Federal Reserve Bank, and we have some great plans right now for a stock exchange that's going to happen. We have some great plans going here, and that, this is something that's happening in America right now, is that we're trying to get the thing active and not make it die. We want new, more modern things. We want more unique ideas, something that, AR hasn't tried before, like a stock exchange, like an immigration service, like a whole passport system. All of this stuff would be great to have just uniqueness in America right now. So I dislike this statement just because, not because I'm biased, because I'm a Treasury Secretary right now, but I just dislike the statement because it's so stupidly incorrect, and that Armand has no position to make even slightly make this claim. So I sort of told him off in a few tweets. The other 2 are from other people who were just like, this is stupid. So moving back to the actual podcast setting, that's pretty much the new news that's happened lately. Again, if you didn't hear me just say it, the Federal Reserve Bank is now a thing, so if you want to join that, I made an official statement in Government Alerts, so you can check that out. But let's move on to my last topic of the night, and that is the future for AR. Like, I've always mentioned that the future of AR isn't really, we don't know, it's so up in the air, but I want to give my official predictions moving forward. So let's start with the new Chief Justice. I'm predicting, and I am 1-0 for predictions, actually, because I did predict Savory Soup would become vice president. I predicted either him or William P. Nixon, but I sort of kind of explained why William P. Nixon wouldn't be vice president, but Savory I did predict, so I'm 1-0 for predictions. Let's say, I think I'm going to go 2-0 for predictions if I say that the new Chief Justice will be Catherine Aguilar, or 87, whatever her name is, so that's my newest official prediction. I just feel like she is in such a good position right now, just being a new person, being active, and that Akon knows her, that she's going to be the Chief Justice most likely. So I'm liking that. I'm not sure. People are sort of confused about this Catherine. There's some reports of her being an alt. I don't know if that's true, but whatever. Moving on. What's some more predictions? So House elections are happening now. I have no idea who's running, but I had a guest on who ran just a few days ago, Mr. William Slaughter. So that was great talking to him, and he's planning on doing some great things for the House that'll help boost activity. So I'm happy that he's in power. So I don't know exactly who's running. I don't know what pluralists or what federalists are running, but I have a feeling that the federalists may retake the majority in the House. I think they actually already have. That it is just a 1-seat majority, but again, it's a minority government, so that is that. But I want to skip the Senate elections. Obviously, we don't know who's going to be. There's going to be new people coming in and out of AR. There's going to be probably people we haven't even heard of running in the Senate elections in late May and early June. One thing I do want to say is the presidential election, because that's something that we could plausibly, in air quotes, predict. Because, obviously someone who joins in late May or now is not going to run for president because they don't have any experience. But someone who's well-defined in the community, is liked by everyone, and just, shares an overall well reception, is going to run for president. And, of course, I don't think that Akon has any sort of competition. The pluralists seem to be on his side. The constitutionalists, of course, are on his side. The pluralists seem to be saying that if Akon runs again, that they will probably have Akon go through the whole primary thing, but they will most likely support Akon or it is. The Federalists, of course, being the official opposition right now, are sort of not so keen on it. They're like, yeah, we don't know. So I think that they'll have another candidate that's going to run against them. But the thing is, I don't see anyone beating Akon. He's not Akon is by far not a popular president. His administration is pretty much, his administration is fine and it's popular, but Akon himself, not the most popular. Definitely not like if Bernard Caldwell ran again. Like, I don't know if that would even be, I don't think that would be even a competition, but I feel like Akon is just moving the country forward. People are people are content with where the country is. We could be going up, we could be going down, but, we're just chugging along. And I feel like that's the way it's going to be until development happens. I think the president is really doing all he can right now. He's getting active people in cabinet positions. He's getting more jobs and more people in the group. So right now we're just waiting on the managers to get more money into the group, to get more, to get more advertisements out, and to get this game updates released, which I'm fucking hearing every single day, and I've made 50 episodes about this. Just stop teasing this stupid update for Los Angeles and just, keep working on it. Continuously work on it and stop trying to convince me everything's going to be okay. Because I know that, this is either going to be the death or, the sort of, the sort of initiation of AR into an actual American role play. Like an actual community, a new NUSA. So, I want to give you a few candidates I have in mind for president. People have asked me quite frequently, actually a lot more frequently than I would have expected, if I'm going to run for president next year against Akon. I'm going to tell you this right now, that if Akon Ernest is running for president next year, I don't think that I will, just because, I don't want to run against him. I support him 100%, and that I mean, I don't support him 100%. I do not support. Even though I am in this cabinet, of course, I would keep the same job if I ran. If I voted for him, if he won a second term. I'm not saying my vote is definitely for Akon, because there are other people in the country that I could see voting for, but none of which I think could run. So, I'll tell you this. The thought has crossed my mind a few times to run for president. I'm thinking about it. Don't exclude me yet, but I'm saying this right now that I will not run against Akon Artist. I will not even try to run against Akon Artist because he is a decent president right now, and I think that he's the best guy running our country. However, if it's not Akon Artist running, here's my only term for not running. I think that maybe Savory. I don't know if I would run against Savory. I like the dude. He's a great vice president. I might run against him. I'm not sure about that, but I don't want to be... I have a feeling that he would be endorsed by the pluralists, the federalists, and all, or the pluralists and the constitutionalists, and I don't want to run as a federalist. Even though I used to be a federalist, I do not want to be associated with them. So, I don't know if I would run against Savory. But those two people excluded, I feel like I would run. I feel like that, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. I think I have a good idea of what's going to happen, but... you could see me run. I'm not excluding that possibility, but again, Akon Artist and Savory, if they run, I will not be running. So, who then would run against them? Because obviously, the pluralists, less than the Constitution. The Constitutionalists, of course, are going to have a primary system for, electing a nominee, like every party, but we all know that their support is for Akon. The pluralists, not so much, but of course, we know that's the same thing. That's going to happen. So I feel like he's going to become the candidate there. So without a pluralist and without a constitutionalist candidate running, that only leaves one other party, which is the Federalist Party. So let's kind of talk about who could be the nominee. Of course, Armand is not a bad person. That we definitely should be talking about him. He's, of course, the former speaker. But I feel like he's just not in a position anymore to run. He's just lost all public office. He is kicked. I told you this already, but he's kicked out of the House. So I don't think that he will see him. I think he might attempt to run, but I don't think if he becomes the nominee and it'll be another two-way of rematch, I think that he'll be beaten even worse if he runs again. But he's told me a few times that I might become his vice presidential pick. So I don't think that that's gonna matter anyway. Is that he's gonna get his ass whooped if he runs against Akon again. So we just need to see someone else. I think that, there's some decent Federalists here. There's the current chairman of the Federalist Party, Remy Cross, the former Secretary of the Treasury. For the first House Majority Leader, he's definitely a good candidate. I don't want to say he's a good candidate. He is the chairman of the Federalist Party now, but didn't do too great when he was in the cabinet. So we could see him run potentially, but I think he would get his ass whooped by Akon. I don't think that anyone really has a solid chance of beating Akon if he runs again, but that is if he runs again. If Savory were to run, though, I see a completely different scenario. I don't think that people would elect Savory. I don't think Savory would even run. I think that people would not elect Savory. I think that we could see completely different people, like people we haven't even heard of, run for president next time. It's all up in the air. We don't know. But one thing we do know is that America is chugging along, and that I will probably have to be supporting Akon. Not that I want to, not that it's in the best interest of America, but just because he's doing the best he can, and that he is right now probably the best person to be leading us. So with that being said, I've sort of gotten over my time limit. Next episode will feature some guests if people can come on. People are, of course, busy with AP exams that I've had to experience myself. But with that being said, I thank you so very much for watching, and have a great day.